You know, folks, veterans is an all-encompassing term. But I want you to think about this a minute. Some of us do things that others won't. And those are the veterans I'm going to talk about today. Because those veterans get up every day. Some of them at 2 in the morning, some of them at 3, some of them hadn't even been to bed yet. They put their life on the line every day to make sure you enjoy the freedoms that you experience on a daily basis. You got the freedom to listen to the music you like to listen to. You got the freedom to watch the movies and pay attention to TV and get out and vote and do things that a lot of other people in other countries don't have the freedom to do. You have the right to make an impact on your future by voting. You have these rights, and you have these rights because of veterans and yourself. Because if you don't do what you do, veterans don't have a cause or cannot do what they do. So today, I'm going to be down at the Dayton V.A. You're going to see images of veterans. I'm not allowed to record faces, but you're going to see images of veterans, and I'm going to talk about a program that's in danger of falling apart down here. We need to do what we can do to try and keep it going. Today's the final event of the season for the 4 Freedom Equestrian Team. And I've been recording them pretty much all year, coming down here, watching how they interact with veterans and how their therapy program helps, recording stories. And it's important for you today to look at all these movies, especially this one I'm starting out today. Like it, share it, comment on it, because we need to present it to the heads of the VA hospital here and try and convince them to give Leah Edwards and the 4 Freedom Team what they need to carry on with this mission. I was talking with Miss Edwards last night about the issues here. This is where they house their carriage, back in that garage back there. The VA is giving them that space. What they'd like to do, if it's possible, is get this building right here so they can set up and do their therapy sessions, bring the veterans in there to let them work with the horses. They've got a nice wide open field out here where they can work the horses at, and ample parking here. And of course they got the use, they'd like to get the use of that building right there to set up in and do their classes. Course is 6 weeks long. One of the stories I want to tell you while you're listening is David related a story to me about a veteran. How you doing, folks? This is Rex at the Buckeye Nest, and I'm out here with David, and we're doing another impromptu movie for you. David's been with the 4 Freedom Equestrian Team now about how many years or months or hours?
A little over 2 years.
2 years. Very good. Are you a vet yourself?
Yes, sir. I served in the Army during the Cold War, 1978, 1982. German.
Okay, well, how long have you been? You've been over a little over 2 years. You own your own horses?
No, I don't have any of my own yet. I'm starting to look around for some Now I moved over to Dayton, Indiana, and the job I have is a homeless shelter for vets, and that's how since we connected with horses. My boss has horses, so it was a
homeless shelter for vets in Indiana.
Indiana, yes, Indiana.
So you work there?
Yes, sir.
Quit calling me sir. I work for a living just like you do. All right.
Okay.
All right. No disrespect to those officers out there that might be watching this, but that's an old non-com thing, right?
Right.
Well, wait a minute. I should probably ask her. Are you an officer? Are you an officer? No. Okay. So you come over here how many times a month from Indiana?
At least a couple times. I tried. Normally I work Tuesday afternoons, and this is kind of a special day with this group this morning, plus the carriage rides, and this evening we're having a team cookout. And I wanted to make that because Memorial Day weekend at the festival they have here, I had fallen off a horse, passed out on it.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, got a clean bill of health from the doctor. They run a bunch of tests. Doing good. Feel good.
The sun's shining bright this morning at the Dayton V.A. It's Veterans Day, November 11th, 2014. Pretty good place to be sometimes, especially if you're a veteran. I want you to take a look at something, folks. There's a program out here called the Freedom Equestrian Team. They come out here and do a lot of good things for veterans. They bring horses out here through the spring, summer, and fall, and they let the veterans interact with the animals, and they get a sense of well-being from that project. The project's in danger of folding today. This may be the last day you'll see these horses out here today. They're going to come out and do carriage rides today and let the veterans pet the animals and work with them and talk with them and kind of bond with them. This is the lot where they usually set up in. It's pretty early. They're not here yet. They won't be here till about 9:30, 10 o'clock. But I want you to see this lot because they've been setting up here for 8 years in this spot and back over here. And you're going to get to see them later on this morning. And I'm going to re-record the carriage rides and talk a little bit about the program. But think of it like this. This organization has been coming out here for 8 years. Miss Edwards, for 8 years, she's been bringing volunteers with her. And the good that they've done here is unbelievable. I would hate to see this program go down. I would hate to see this lot remain empty next year. So we need your help. Folks, I want you to meet a lady. Her name is Leah Edwards. For 8 years, she's been coming out here to this VA, dragging that trailer full of horses, setting up and letting veterans use those horses to heal. This might be her last day. Let's not let that happen.
With For Freedom for 2 years now, can you recall any moments that really touched you between watching the veterans and the horses together?
One that really touched me was I met this group in April of 2012, and through them I ended up getting a job on a horse farm. And I lived there. They had an apartment in the basement of the house, and the amazing thing was that I got to attend their first meeting in September of 2012, and I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea what they had planned. And they had the meeting and everything, and there was this table in here in the library. Their tablecloths covering a whole bunch of stuff. I didn't even think anything about it, but they always got stuff in there and everything. And I said, well, now we got this for you. It was everything from my apartment. I mean, trash bags, cooking utensils, plates, towels, laundry detergent, soap, a brand new microwave. I was speechless. I cried. I mean, what this team has done for me has been amazing. And then with the vets, what they're doing since then, and I've never left them. I mean, I hung around. They said, now I hang around. They can't get rid of me. And I won't let them get rid of me. And, but I tell these vets, you know, you can take these horses for a walk. Tell them anything you want. They'll never tell another soul or another horse. Nobody will know. And every once in a while, I'll take them a walk up to the domiciliary where the vets live here on the grounds here at Dayton V.A. And they asked the Four Freedom group. They asked us, "You always take the horses up there? Would you like to take them up there to the guys?" I said, "Yeah, but it's more for me just to be alone with that horse. That's my time." And they didn't know that. But when I told them, I said, "That's my time." That walk up there, then seeing them, and then walking back over there. It's only a 10-minute walk, maybe, not even that. But whatever it is, that's my time.
I know what you're saying.
And that's important. And I tell these women, men and women who've been in this PTSD class and everything, they at first they're a little intimidated by them. Some of the guys take right to them. And there was a Vietnam vet that I knew and met him up here before he even come in contact with us and everything. And I asked him, he saw me one day and stopped me in the building, and he says, "Hey," asked me how I was doing. A lot of people know me. I asked him, I said, "So you going to come to the horse league in this class?" And he says, "You going to be there?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to be there." He said, "All right, I'll hang out with you." He used to train horses and break them and everything. He went to Vietnam, fought over there, I don't know, a year, 2 years, something like that. Come back, everything, he'd been injured and everything, and really couldn't do it. So he gave it up. When he first come over here in the class and everything, he looked at the horse. He had a walker. He looked at the horse and everything. He sat down. That was it. The next week, he was over there petting it a little bit. The third week, he was brushing, grooming. Fourth week, got his pictures taken with one and everything. And he was really, he walked around it, petting it, grooming it and everything. This week, they get to drive the carriage if they want to. And that's what I normally do. And I asked him, I says, "Mike, ready to drive his carriage?" He says, "Yeah." Climbed up there and he drove the little...
He got up there without his walker.
Climbed up there without his walker.
So he's doing all this, going through the stirrupy, and he's slowly strengthening his body and stepping up. And wow.
The sixth week they get to ride. "Mike, you going to go on the ride with us?" He says, "Yes, I am." That moment, he got on that horse, his smile couldn't cover this ground.
Wow.
He was so happy. That before we even took off, just him getting up in the saddle, and that was worth $1 million, and it gives me goosebumps today. That's what it does for these people. It slows them down. They're thinking. They have to think for the horse and themselves, and in that regard, it's a win-win situation. The horses we have they're pretty much bomb-proof. I mean, we got a guy a vet that went through therapy and everything, and he still comes out. He had knee surgery. I think he's on vacation next week, but he ever since his class was over with, he's been back almost every week, and we're here. So it's to see them, even the ones that shy away from it, they're not really so sure and everything. At the end of the 6 weeks, it's amazing that there is a bond there, and then they talk about it. Wow, when I first started, I didn't even want to touch them or anything. They're all over.
Well, I got a little bond with Tank because that's what I did in the Army. Tanks.
Right. And it just,
So back to you said his name was Mike. We're trying to fathom this, completely understand this. You met this man when he was walking this horse around this grounds, and he started coming to therapy class on a walker. He couldn't walk without a walker. 6 weeks later, he got up on the back of a horse.
Yep.
He needed a little help on it, I suppose. Or did he get up there on his own?
He got up there on his own.
So 6 weeks later, he has recovered to the point where he's able to climb on the back of a horse and ride that horse around the ground.
Yes, sir. Yep.
So today's events conclude the season for the 4 Freedom Equestrian Team at the Dayton V.A. I hope you've gotten something out of this movie. I hope you see the good that the program does at the VA. And I hope you'll like this movie, share it, comment on it, so we can present it to the director at the Dayton VA and convince him to keep this program going by letting Leah and her crew set up in a facility out of the hospital grounds and continue with the program. Thank you, and God bless.
Before the outbreak of the Civil War, the Army Dragoon regiments were designated as cavalry. The change was an unpopular one, and the former Dragoons retained their orange braided blue jackets until they wore out and had to be replaced with the cavalry yellow. The first